Okay, in this video we're going to continue to work on the front end of the train boiler. I noticed at the end of the last video that if we go to perspective, we zoom in where the bell is, some of the spacing might need to be adjusted. This is going to happen from time to time. We're working pretty quick. We're not taking our time this time around just because we have a deadline and sometimes we don't have the time to do everything perfectly. So let's just adjust these things. Personal projects we take as much time as we want, but sometimes when you're being paid you may not have the time. There's a budget, there's a deadline, so let's just move that a little bit. Okay, that's better. Not really intersecting too much. A little bit here, we're going to move that. There's no intersection now, that's good. Let's move down to that light left viewport. Okay, much like we did earlier with the bell mounting, we're just going to outline this little orange shape here with spline tools. So we'll go over here to the create panel, click on shapes, line, everything is set right, corner and Bezier. Let's start out right here, and as I come down here I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to let go. I'm just going to assume that it does a little curve here. I'm going to click, come out to here and click down, across. I'm going to click here, and now my next one, I'm going to come out here. I'm going to click and drag to get that curve going again. Same thing here. I'm going to click a little bit of a drag just so it's not perfect. We can adjust because that doesn't look like it's exactly the way I want it. Let's come down here, click and drag, get a little curve. Out to here, click. Let's just go up and come out to that other vertex and close that spline off. We say yes. Okay, now over here, extend the menu for the spline, vertex. It's a little wonky right there. It's a little bit off. So we can zoom in on that. And I think in an earlier lesson I showed you, these arrows influence the way the Bezier handles move. So what I want to do is click on this green, and now these handles will go up and down in the direction of the arrow. So if I do that, that works a bit. Now if I want to tighten them up, sorry about that, I can click on the red arrow, I can come in and out. I could also take this one. Now because this handle is overlapping that vertice, that's part of where the problem is. So I'm going to just shorten that up a little bit. You see that fixed that quite a bit. And right here it looks a little sharp at the corner. This is probably a corner type of vertice. So what we want to do is select it, right click. You see it says corner. Let's make it a Bezier and see what happens. Let's smooth that out. So now we have a good outline for our mount. We're going to go into perspective again. F3, let's do extrude. And let's say, as earlier it was like a ½ inch, which it is now. I'm going to say that's a good value. I'm going to go to top viewport. F3, I'm going to move that out. I'm going to say we should come out a little bit further for now, because I think the headlight's kind of wide. It needs to be mounted like that. Let's make a copy, or shift dragging that piece of mesh over. We're going to make it an instance actually, so if we change it, any changes made to one will go across to the other. Okay, so there we have that mount for the front headlight. So let's go to the left viewport again. And now we can use a spline to just outline this and lathe it and make the headlight. I think I'm going to stick with that. Could do the same thing by using a cylinder primitive and pulling it out and then doing extrusion to get this little piece. But I think for the workflow we're doing right now, the splines just make a lot of sense. So I'm going to start a new spline right here in the middle, approximate middle. I'm going to click all the way around. There's a little rim here, comes forward. I'm going to kick back this way. And now what I'm going to do is come to the middle. I'm going to click and drag. That gives a little bow to that other side. And now I'm going to right click, and that ends the spline. And this is like the front of the light. We're later going to detach that and make a lens for the light. We can click out of line. Come up here and let's lathe this. See, it's in the wrong direction. It's not a big deal. X, max. And now if you go to lathe and we move that axis, you just click lathe, extend it, click on axis, and now when you move your manipulator, you can just do that right there. Let's go to perspective. You see That looks a lot better. Looks really good. A little segmenty, so I'm going to just up them a little bit on the lathe, the amount of segments in the lathe. So we have 24, let's go 32. Okay. Alright, so with that, again, any adjustments we want to make to this, we can do either at the line level, or we can do above the lathe with edit poly. What you don't want to do is if we add edit poly, we don't want to come back below the lathe and change the lathe value. Like we have 32 segments. If you change that number, it's going to throw off all of your edit poly edits above it. So think ahead. You can always collapse this down and add segments or divide it, subdivide it, whatever you like. But for the time being, I'm going to add edit poly. Go to edge, select these two edges. I'm going to do a loop selection by Alt L. And now we're going to just do a little chamfer. That's a very big value by default. We're going to right click it out and just slide it back and forth. That looks good to me. It's just a little, it's going to catch a little kiss of highlight. And you know what, while we're doing this, let's get this front edge, Control and click, and do Alt and L again. We added that to the selection that's being chamfered, and let's do it at the back side as well. Select the edge with Control, Alt and L, and let's now say OK. So that right now has some edges that you can see in the viewport. They're catching light better than if they were crisp. Let's add a smooth modifier above that and see how that works. Auto smooth. Okay. I think that's good. Again, if you're going to be closer to this, you want to up your segments in the lathe, but this mesh with all the parts of the train is going to be very heavy. So for the distance we're going to view, which I'm thinking is around that far for now, we're going to keep this a little bit lower poly. And you can see these meshes that we're creating, like the headlight, we can always come in if we had to. If we needed a detail shot where the train's coming into frame, we could take this mesh, add a turbo smooth, add some edges to keep it from deforming, and have a high quality mesh that you can get a real good close up on. So you're never stuck with anything. You're always editable and always able to change things. So with that said, I'm going to pause the video, and in the next video we're going to do the little shade for the light and the little front plate that goes here. Also remember, let's save our file, and I'm going to pause the video now.